this new technology came some benefits for the Hickory Police Department. And what I'm talking about are new body cameras that the City of Hickory and the Hickory Police Department now have. And I have Captain Thurman Wisnant here with me today, as well as Lieutenant Andy Curley, who's going to show us some of the actual features of the body cameras. But thank you, Captain Wisnant, for being with us.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Sure. Now tell us a little bit about the background of how did this come about and why did we feel the need to have them?
Technology has always been a priority with us here at the police department, and for years we have had various versions of in-car cameras, and that we collected footage with our in-car footage. Unfortunately, with that technology, we were finding that you only capture about 10% of the interactions that an officer has in the course of a day. It really just what happens in front of the police car. So for several years, we've kind of kept an eye on the emerging technology of body-worn cameras. The cost, roughly the cost of an in-car camera is about $5,000. So we were looking at the technology, and here recently we felt that the technology had come along far enough that you could get a body-worn camera with a battery that was small enough that an officer could easily carry the camera and the battery along with all the other equipment they're required to carry. The price was low enough that we felt that we would just get a lot more bang for our buck by equipping our officers with the body-worn cameras.
It sounds amazing that the technology has come along to this point that they're so small they can wear them. So tell me a little bit about the benefit of having those cameras for whether it be an investigation or the purposes that you're using them for.
Well, again, the main reason is just for us to have an accurate documentation of encounters with the public, whatever kind of encounter that may be. Again, only about 10% of what an officer encounters in a day occurs in front of their police car. With this, they're going to be carrying it with them. We feel that they're going to get about 90% more video and audio footage of their encounters with the public, and also just the ease of use of the video that we capture. The ease in capturing it, uploading it, sharing it was just a great benefit we felt to go with the body-worn cameras.
So this is a little easier to do the back-end technology of uploading and getting those things into the system.
Much easier. In the past, we have maintained all the video servers, and we've had to burn a whole lot of disk. And when you think about getting prepared for court and the amount of the cost that goes into and the time that goes into burning disk, with this, each officer has an account that their particular camera is registered to them, and so they're able, once the upload happens, and the upload process is really, it occurs when you're charging your camera and your battery. It's networked in, so all the video is pulled up to a service called evidence.com. Each officer here has an account that they're able to access and able to deal directly with their own video evidence. And instead of burning discs, they can actually share the evidence with prosecutors, with other officers, maybe who another officer assigned the case. It just really cut down on a lot of the back-end work and made it a whole lot more efficient for us to manage the evidence.
Okay, and so tell me a little bit about the actual recording. So how long can the battery record, and how long do they record, and do they have the ability to turn them off or keep them on or things like that?
Okay, the officer will turn the battery pack on, and you'll get to see it up close here in just a few minutes, but they will turn the battery pack on, and the camera is constantly what we call buffering. So it's constantly recording what is going on, but it's just not storing the video until an officer actually activates the recording. So it will last a 12-hour shift. The battery pack will last a 12-hour shift. The camera itself, which is where the video is actually stored, has an internal memory device that will store up to 8 hours of video before it has to be downloaded. So we do have a pretty strict and clear policy on what will be recorded, and so in essence, any significant encounter, enforcement action, citizen contact, our policy has clear guidelines on what is to be recorded, when it's to be recorded. In essence, any significant contact with the public, whether it's enforcement action or otherwise, is going to be recorded and uploaded. Obviously, officers have a lot of uncommitted time that, they are in their police cars. We had to think about things like going to the restroom. Now that the officer's carrying a camera with them, so there has to be times when they're able to deactivate it, due to some privacy issues. And again, with with technology, those are some of the hurdles and some of the obstacles and things that you have to work through and overcome.
And I know technology sometimes is a little before even legal standards of how these things are stored, how do we use them, things like that. So I know we're still working through those processes as well.
You're exactly right, and we've tried to research this as best we can, and we found with this and other issues that you're exactly right, that a lot of times technology kind of surpasses or comes out quicker than the laws that govern it. So with this, again, kind of to use the analogy of the police car cameras, with those cameras, you're never really collecting footage which is going to be in somebody's home or in a hospital room. Sure. And so with this, we've had to consider issues and things of that nature, that this camera is going where the officer goes, and so we have to take those things into consideration.
Privacy laws and things like that.
There are some privacy issues that have to be considered when dealing with body cameras, and it's kind of been there's some research still being done in other places and within the legal communities about kind of trying to get a solid handle on that.
Exactly, and we're not the only ones either that have this. I mean, we are one of many, right?
We're told that there are approximately 2,000 police agencies nationwide that are employing this technology. There's about, to give you a point of reference, there's about 17,000 plus police agencies, law enforcement agencies in the U.S. And right now, what we've been told is roughly 2,000 have implemented this technology, but we see that it's growing, and we anticipate that this is the direction that most of the video technology is going to be going with respect to law enforcement.
Makes sense. Well, I'm excited. It sounds like it's a good use of an ability with technology for protection of the officer as well as the public.
You're right, and those were two of the top considerations when we were, researching whether to go with body cameras. Obviously, as I said before, the number one thing is we want to accurately document and have a record of our encounters with the public. It enables us to do many things. It's going to enable us if there's training issues or things that we need to work on or improve on. It gives us, our supervisors, the ability to evaluate their officers. It also, as you know, many times there are folks or folks that make allegations against officers and allege misconduct, and it allows us to have a video record to go back and actually view what actually occurred.
So you mentioned a little bit about the cost of the in-car camera. Tell me a little bit about the cost and how that affects the department with these new body cameras.
Well, the cost is greatly reduced with this, and that was a very strong consideration when you consider, I had mentioned bang for the buck. When you consider we're going to be capturing a whole lot more video, the cost again was $5,000 for an in-car camera. With this, the cost is so significantly reduced when you consider the entire package, which includes your hardware, your software, your video management. We were able to actually outfit our entire patrol division. All the folks that will be responding to calls have the latest technology. We're in a 5-year contract that will allow us to have, when a camera breaks, if a new model comes out, an upgrade, we have a solid cost, and this will carry us through the next 5 years with the latest technology.
Tell me too, one more thing to talk about is the location of the body camera. It could be in 2 different places, is that correct?
Yeah, the cameras are actually mounted with a magnet, so there are multiple mounting options. The 2 mounting options that are going to be most utilized by Hickory Police are, there's a collar mount where the camera will be mounted just beside the collar, but they can also mount it on their glasses, which kind of gives a unique perspective in that the view that you're going to see with the video is actually, you'll see the officer, what the officer actually sees, where they turn their head. The collar mount, doesn't give you the head turn perspective, but it does give you the straight on perspective of the audio and video of what the officer actually saw. So they're able to, let's say if they're wearing it on their glasses and they're going to go in a building and they need to take their glasses off, they can actually just take it and move it down to their collar and walk in, move their glasses up. And so it really, the functionality of it, we were really impressed with.
Well, I appreciate you sharing all that you have with us, and we look forward to them being able to utilize these new tools as they come out. So thank you again for sharing all this.
Thank you.